Hi, how you doing today? Doing great? I know you're doing great. How? Because I'm psychic. I'm kidding. No, I have a Sharingan. I can see right through to everything and everybody at all times. Am I omniscient? Maybe. Who knows? I can't tell you. Today, I am doing a song that I really enjoy. I'm actually doing this in the part two because they're interconnected. But first, we're going to do this one. It's Slipknot, Vermilion. Now, what's interesting about the song is it's a song from their album Subliminal Verses Volume 3, which is a really good album. If you like metal, especially like mid 2000s metal, awesome album. Listen to it front to back. It is great. It's just beautiful. But that being said, I was looking up a little bit about the song because when I already know the song, I like to try to look to understand it within the context within which they're trying to present it. And he said basically, if I can remember, that they were trying to write from this the whole it's like obsessive, deranged, stalkerish kind of perspective and kind of really get that feeling and feel. So based off that, we're gonna discuss this song based off that premise. Okay, so let's just get into it. Enough of my rambling.
She seems dressed in all the rings of past fatalities, so fragile yet so devious. She continues to see climatic hands that press her temples and my chest. Enter the night that she came home forever. She's the only one that makes space.
Okay, starting off like from the first verse, I like how the first verse really sets the tone that will continue on through the rest of the song, obviously. But the first verse is that setup, and it sets the tone. I really like how, like through the lyrics, it sets this really, it does really set that kind of obsessive vibe, that obsessive feel, like the way he describes her, and the way, because it's very much kind of like an outside looking in kind of perspective, like when he says she seemed dressed in all the rings of past fatalities. Like let's go back and check, listen to a little bit of it, just so I can.
All the rings of past fatalities, so fragile yet so devious. She continues to see climatic.
Like it's very much a description of how he perceives her. I just had to kind of refresh my mind a little bit, but how he perceives her, and also how she makes him feel, like with her touch and with her general presence. It really encapsulates this kind of deranged emotional state. But let's kind of keep going forward.
She is everything and more. The solemn hypnotic, my dahlia bathed in possession. She is home to me. I get nervous, perverse when I see her, it's worse. But the stress is astounding. It's now or never, she's coming home.
Okay, before it picks up for the bridge, like this second verse right here, like for one thing, like the tonality of it is really interesting because like the first verse kind of builds, but then it kind of eases the tension, and then it goes into the second verse, which I think is like tonally fits the emotional vibe. Like he's letting the emotion well up, but then he's kind of containing it, but then he's revisiting the feeling. And in the second verse, you really get into the more obsessive nature of the lyrics and how obsessive he really is over her. Like when he says, when he describes her as his Dahlia, as his wait. Let me, because it's been a little while since I've heard this song, but let me just.
She is everything and never she.
That's what he goes. When he says she is everything and more. My Dahlia bathed in obsession, she is home to me. Like basically, like everything that he feels is wrapped up in her. You know, like everything he is just wrapped in this feeling and wrapped in how she makes him feel. Like even when he says, "I get nervous, perverse, and when I see her, it's worse." Like it really builds on this feeling of anxiety and anticipation. You know, as best way I can describe it and put it. But let's keep moving forward. Like you know, we'll better understand as we go on.
He's coming home. She's the only one that makes me hard to say what caught my attention. Fixed and crazy, eighth attraction. Got my name and my face to recognize such a pheromone cult that terrorize. I won't let the
Now, what's interesting is, well, first and foremost, and this is something interesting I learned, with that when they, because you see they have their regular Slipknot mask on, but then they all put on different masks, and those are apparently their death masks, which are supposed to be like molds of their actual faces. And they put them on when they perform the song at concerts. But what's really interesting is like this is like kind of the crux, the stir of that emotion when he says, hard to say what caught my attention, fixed and crazy, avid attraction. You know, like it's kind of like he's, at least in my opinion, like you know, really trying to pinpoint what it is that has him so obsessed. Like when did it start? When did it begin? He can't really put his finger on it, but he knows that it's there, and it's kind of starting to eat away at him, and it's starting to tear probably at his sanity a little bit, but that's when it leads into
this build up inside of me. I won't let this build up inside of me. I won't let this build up inside of me. I won't let this build up inside of me.
now it's like would I take that when he's like I won't let this build up inside of me. How I take that is that he's like, you know, at a point where he's trying to basically push off or deny these feelings. Maybe it's like it's become too encompassing. Like if you ever think about like stalkers, you know, sometimes a stalker becomes so obsessed that the only way they feel like they can free themselves is to free themselves of the object of their obsession, which you know sometimes leads to stalkers, you know, doing very severe things. It's the best I can say is YouTube to alleviate themselves of that obsession. And so it's like him trying to reaffirm that he won't let this consume him. He won't let this take over. That it's almost like a mantra that he's repeating to himself. Like I won't let this build up inside of me. I won't let this build up inside of me. I won't let this. Like he's trying to like reassert himself outside of this obsessive feeling and this anxiety that he feels in this anticipation of what you know what this woman makes him feel of wanting to be with her, of what it'll be like to finally get with her. This whole song is basically like the anticipation of wanting to be with someone before, and the idealized version before you actually get to be with that person, you know? Now, before we close this out, this is what I really love about this part of the song when he says, like, I am a slave and I am a master, no restraints and unchecked collectors, but then basically, like, he's a slave to the feeling, but he's also kind of in control of his obsession, but he's also, again, a slave to it, which kind of is like, I guess you say it's contradictory, but it's kind of like the struggle within yourself. Like you feel the way you feel, and you can control your feelings, but at the same time you kind of struggle to want to control it. I think so. At points like it's like when people say like I can't help how I feel. That's not entirely true. You can help how you feel. Well, correction. You may not be able to help that you have gotten a feeling about something, but you totally can help whether you choose to feed that feeling or give into that feeling or succumb to that feeling. But sometimes you want to. You don't want to control it, but you can. And I take it as like, it's that battle, that struggle of I'm a slave, but I'm also a master. I can't help it, but at the same time, I'm allowing myself to do so. And so, and again, that also plays into the no restraints and unchecked collectors. Like, I'm a slave, I'm a master, but I give in no restraints. I don't allow myself to be restrained because I don't want to be restrained. And then when he's like, she is something to me that I despise. Like, it's like a self-awareness, like an acknowledgement that these unchecked feelings are not healthy, and the fact that I feel this way about her, about someone about that I'm not even like really with yet, and I have all these feelings, it's kind of disgusting, and I kind of wish I didn't feel it, but at the same time I sort of can't help it, but I can. And if this sounds crazy, that's kind of the point. I think it's not rational. Like at this point, he's past the point of like entirely thinking rationally, and kind of doesn't care anymore.
Build up inside of me. I won't let this build up inside of me. I won't let this build up inside of me. I won't let this build up inside of me. I won't let this build up inside of me. I won't let this build up inside of me. I won't let this build up inside of me. I won't let this build up inside of me.
All right. And I think like when he gets to the point where he's like, she isn't real, I can't make her real. Like he's kind of like how can I put it? Like I think it's like in the, kind of saying like the version that I have made up in my head isn't real, and I can't make that real because like this song is like he's more in love or more obsessed with this idea of her versus who she actually really is, which is really exemplified in certain key lines in the song. Like, you know, I get nervous reversing when I see its worse. It's like all this anticipation, like when you see like a crush, like you have all these feelings working inside, but then when you see them, you lock up, you get nervous, you get tense because you anticipate being around them, but like you don't always know how to act. And I think it really plays on that. And so like when he says I can't make her real, you can't make the version that you have inside your head real because it conflicts with the reality and you can't bring that to life. Anyway, that was Vermilion. Next time we'll do Vermilion Part 2, which is the companion piece. Let me know what you think. Do you agree, disagree? Is there anything that I missed? Anything that you like about it? Anything that you want to point out to me? I would love to hear it. Also, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe. You haven't subscribed yet? Come on, get your life together. You haven't subscribed yet. It's a little bit rude. I don't know why you haven't done that. Anyway, until next time. Peace.